Students, I am Siraj Khan, lecturer in English Cust. Welcome to my subject Morphology and Syntax. Our course code is English 262 and it's our lecture number 23rd. The passive transformation. In English grammar, passivization is the transformation of a sentence from an active form to a passive form. It is also known as raising. Through the process of passivization, the direct object of an active declarative sentence can become the subject of a passive sentence. Its opposite is activization. A passivization keeps together those units or bits of language that form a constituent. The passive counterpart of an active clause usually contains a form of be and a past participle. It allows you to leave out the actor in material processes, experiencer in mental processes, and speak in verbal process clauses. Passivization is the transformation of a sentence from an active form to passive form. The outlines are passive transformation, formation of present tense, past tense, future tense, and perfect tense, active voice tree diagram, the systematic relationship between active voice and passive voice diagram, direct and indirect objects in a sentence. How to form a passive voice sentence from active voice? We go with a structure like subject plus present form of the verb to be plus past participle third form of irregular verbs. Ali writes a book is a simple sentence of simple present tense. Ali is the subject followed by first form of verb, is form of verb, and an object. When we change that into another example, Ahmed cleans the windows. A book is written by Ali. Ali writes a book. We change that into passive voice. So there are certain rules for that. And that a book, the subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice, and the object of active voice sentence becomes the subject, followed by a helping verb and third form of verb and a preposition by. The windows are cleaned by Ahmed. Active voice sentences like I write a book, you write a book, he writes a book, we write a book, you write a book, they write a book. All these are the examples of simple present tense. The structure is the same subject, verb, and object. First form of verb is used in active voice sentences. We change that into passive voice sentence. I write a book changes into a book is written by me. I becomes the object of the passive voice, and the object of the active voice becomes the subject. In passive voice, a book, followed by be is followed by third form of verb. By we use as a preposition before the object which was the subject of the active voice sentence. You write a book. A book is written by you. A book becomes the subject in passive voice, followed by be form of verb. In third form of verb, by you. He writes a book. A book is written by him. A book becomes the subject, followed by be is auxiliary as we, followed by third form of verb. By we use as a preposition, and he becomes him as pronoun cases. He is the subjective case of third person singular, and him is the objective case of he. We write a book. A book is written by us. We becomes us. Is here we is a subjective form, and there us is the objective case of first person plural. You write a book. A book is written by you. You, subjective and objective cases are the same. They write a book. A book is written by them. They becomes them as an object. When it becomes the object of the sentence, we write it them. Past tense, subject plus past form of the verb to be plus past participle, third form of irregular verb. Ali wrote a book. A book was written by Ali. Ali wrote a book. Ali, subject followed by a verb, second form of verb, and object a book. A book was written by Ali. When we change past tense active voice sentences into passive, we put was and were is to be form of verb, and third form we always use in passive voice sentences. Ahmed cleaned the windows. The windows were cleaned by Ahmed. So the subject is singular in the first example, so we put was. The subject in the second example is plural, so we put were. Active voice sentences of past tense. I wrote a book. You wrote a book. He wrote a book. We wrote a book. And you wrote a book. They wrote a book. Changing into passive voice sentence is a book was written by me. A book becomes the subject of the passive voice, followed by to be form. Third form of verb, by as a preposition, in me is the objective case of first person singular I. You wrote a book. A book was written by you. A book was written by him. He wrote a book changes into a book was written by him. We wrote a book. A book was written by us. A book was written by you. And they wrote a book. A book was written by them. Future tense, subject plus future form of the verb to be plus past participle, third form of irregular verbs. Ali will write a book. A book will be written by Ali. Ahmed will clean the windows. The windows will be cleaned by Ahmad. Simple future tense structure is subject plus will or shall plus first form of verb plus object. When we change that into passive voice, we go with the same formula, the replacement of subject with the object, auxiliary according to the tense, in verb to be in third form of verb followed by a preposition by in object which was the subject of the active voice, like a book will be written by Ali. In the second example, Ahmad will clean the windows, so the windows will be cleaned by Ahmad. Some other examples of active voice sentences, like I will write a book, you will write a book, he will write a book, we will write a book, you will write a book, they will write a book. These are the examples of future tense. We are changing that into passive voice, so it will go like a book will be written by me. I will write a book changes into a book will be written by me. You will write a book will be written by you. He will write a book will be written by him. A book will be written by us. You will write a book will be written by you. They will write a book will be written by them. Perfect tense. Subject plus present perfect form of the verb to be plus past participle, third form of irregular verbs. Like Charles has written a book. A book has been written by Charles. Ahmad had cleaned the windows. The windows had been cleaned by Ahmad. Ashir will have written a book. A book will have been written by Ashir. Active voice examples: I have written a book. You have written a book. He has written a book. We had written a book. They had. You have written a book. They have written a book. The passive voice will be like a book has been written by me. You have written a book has been written by you. He has written a book has been written by him. A book had been written by us. You have written a book. It goes like a book has been written by you. They have written a book has been written by them. The passive transformation, like the subject of the sentence is often an actor or agent performing the action of the verb, active voice. Basic type V transitive verb sentence, like John hits bell. A dog chews up my newspaper every day, or the clerk thanked my mother. The subject of the sentence is passively undergoing the action of the verb, passive voice. De-emphasize the importance of the performer of the action. Bill was hit by John. My newspaper is chewed up by a dog every day, and my mother was thanked by the clerk. John hit Bill. A dog, simple past tense, changes into Bell was hit by John. A dog chews up my newspaper every day. Simple present tense sentence changes into passive voice, and that goes with the same structure, that my newspaper is chewed up by a dog every day. Here we have got an indirect object in the sentence. So when we change that into passive voice, we take the indirect object as the subject of the passive voice sentence. Like my newspaper is the indirect object of the active voice sentence. So the passive voice, my newspaper is chewed up by a dog every day. My mother was thanked by the clerk. The original subject agent is moved into an adverbial prepositional phrase, becoming the object of the preposition by. But by we always use before the object of the passive voice, but in many cases, in certain cases, we don't use by as a preposition, not always. The active voice tree that will go like Monica ate the pie. Type we transitive verb sentence like active voice that goes noun phrase 1, verb phrase, main verb phrase in noun phrase like Monica past eat the pie. So ate is the past form of eat. In the pie is the object of the sentence. The systematic relationship between active and passive voice sentences create systematic relationship series of transformational steps like Monica followed by past form of verb followed by the pie, the object. Past plus eat like the pie by Monica. The subject Monica moves to a position at the end of the sentence and the preposition by is inserted preceding it. The original subject becomes the object of preposition by, like the pie ate by Monica. The pie ate by Monica. The original direct object, the pie, moves from its slot following the verb to the beginning of the sentence, becoming a new subject. The pie, past plus be plus n plus eat by Monica. The passive form of the verb is created by adding the passive marker be plus n to the auxiliary immediately preceding the main verb, like the pie was eaten by Monica is the passive structure will be like that. Monica ate the pie. So the pie was eaten by Monica. Passive voice tree is the pie was eaten by Monica. So noun phrase, verb phrase, main verb, auxiliary tense in the past, passive be plus an as a marker. So was eaten, by as a preposition, adverbial preposition is by Monica. Direct and indirect object. Some active sentences can be transformed into two different passive sentences, like Diana gave Pablo some flowers. Some flowers were given to Pablo by Diana. Now, direct object becomes subject. Pablo was given some flowers by Diana. Indirect object becomes subject. When a type V sentence in the active voice includes both a direct object, some flowers, and an indirect object, Pablo, then either the direct object or the indirect object can be moved to subject position to form a passive sentence. Uses and misuses of the passive. The topic of the sentence can be misleading. The subject of the first sentence is people is an independent and unimportant, it could be omitted. Like people have criticized the town council for lack of concern with the appearance of our city, but look what they have achieved in the past few weeks. Sidewalks have been repaired on Whaley Avenue, trees have been planted along the median strip of ocean Boulevard. Attractive new street lights have been installed in front of the library and flowers have been planted in the borders at City Park. They in the second sentence is ambiguous. It could refer either to the people or to the council. The remaining sentences have been made passive and their agents have been detected deleted, and removing agents weakens the assertion. So, in passive voice, the agent disappears. The previous paragraph, like so, following active and passive, have been reversed. The town council has been criticized for lack of concern with the appearance of our city. But look at what they have achieved in the past few weeks. They have repaired sidewalks on Whaley Avenue. They have repaired sidewalks on Whaley Avenue. They have planted trees along the median strip of the ocean boulevard. They have installed attractive new street lights in front of the library and they have planted flowers in the borders at City Park. The focus is clearly on the town council, a focus emphasized even more forcefully by the repetition of they in each of the four active sentences. The varieties of be as a main verb, like Jess is outside, the sky is cloudy, and those men are brutes. Be as an auxiliary verb in the progressive aspect. Jerry is planting vegetables, present plus be plus ing plus plant. Monica was eating the pie, past plus be plus ing plus eat. Be as an auxiliary in the passive voice, like the pie was eaten by Monica, past plus be plus in plus eat, or pet. Iguana is adored by everyone, present plus be plus n plus adore. Existential be equivalent to exist. Let it be, let there be light. To be or not to be, that is the question. There is are a broken glass on the floor. Thank you very much and good luck.